Sorry, Chris. No one's commented on Facebook, I don't think. Look, where's the meter? We have no sound. I think unfortunately, mate, the sound was muted. Right, let's try again. Let's start again. Sorry. So, take two. Forget that last 2 minutes, because I believe there was no volume on the microphone, so I was just miming, as it were. So anyway, welcome again to June's Golf Centre, and we've got another fantastic live lesson with PJ Pro Kris Nicol. He's going to be sharing with you for the next 20 minutes to 40 minutes the secrets of a great short game. He's going to give you some real good insights. So get a pen and paper, make some notes, and then when you want to take this further for your own game, get in touch with one of us here and come and book a lesson at June. So without further ado, after the false start, we're going to try again. Over to you, Chris.
Right, hello there. I'm going to speak a little bit about some of the stuff that I like to see in short game, some kind of insights into what some of the things that happens when I see golfers come in for lessons, some typical kind of faults. Give you a little rundown and maybe how you pick the right shot, maybe a little bit on your routine, and then for there, hopefully you've got a better idea on maybe some things to try next time you're out on the range. So right now we'll start off with just a basic setup. How I kind of like to see you set up to a chip shot. So like right now I've got my 58 degree sand wedge. I'll probably play most of my shots with the 58, depending if there's a certain shot that I need to play. But the majority of the time I'm going to kind of use the 58 and I'd maybe play around with my setup. But if I give you a little bit of an idea on how just to set up for a basic standard shot. So we'll start off with the ball position. So I'd like to kind of see your ball position being fairly middle, maybe you could go a little smidge back of middle. Feet width, it's got to be quite narrow. We don't really need a big wide base. When I hit a big powerful shot, we can come in quite tight to it. We've got to maybe nudge in a little bit closer to the golf ball, and we might go down the grip a little bit. So to get you set up into that position, another wee check that I quite like to see is the butt end of the grip pointing to your belt buckle. I don't really want to see too much of the handle creeping too much forward there.
That was kind of old school, wasn't it, Chris? Isn't that what everyone was taught to do back in the day? Yeah,
so like, I suppose old style of teaching would have been, right, put the ball back in the stance, weight on the left, hands forward. All that really does is, I mean, there's some shots you need to play. You need to play it like that. But pretty much, if we kind of get the grip going forward, it really sharpens up that front edge. And if we get this a little bit wrong, then you're going to be struggling. Then you just got to get the front edge digging out the grass. Maybe just flat shots. So like, I suppose if I speak to you, I can tell you a little bit about bounce if you're not sure about the bounce of clubs, or if you've heard about the bounce. Most wedges nowadays will have the big number, which would be the degrees of loft, and then it would have a small number at the side. So the small number would be your degrees of bounce. So pretty much all it is, if you can't see it really on the camera, can you?
If you get in nice and close, Chris, I think you might be able to. I'll check on the camera. I think that's. If you stand to one side, you're a little bit silhouetted because you've got the black. There we go. That's better.
Right. So pretty much, if we've got the leading edge, the front part of the club, and then if we've got the back edge of the club here, if we was to set the club straight up and down, we should see a little bit of an angle. It's really hard.
It's okay. Yeah, you're good. It's good.
But if this club was sitting up straight, there should be a little bit of an angle for the back edge to the leading edge, and that would be like 8 degrees, so that would be your bounce. So we're kind of trying to, we really want to try and land the sole of the club, and you can see that sole of the club just on the grass and glide. So that's kind of what I would like to see with your setup. So it's a little bit more neutral. You can have a little bit of weight on the left. I would just say slightly favouring the left side. One more thing, probably alignment. Your alignment, you might be a touch open, but again, it's a little bit of personal preference.
What do you mean by a touch open?
So,
I'll put the back camera on for you.
So we're saying, if we was to say this is your target line, if this was square, so that's like 2 train tracks running, so they're both kind of running the same direction. If I was going to say a touch open, I would say maybe like your feet would aim a little bit to the left. It might just allow. I mean, you can look at loads of different players, and some might be square, some might be a little bit short. For me, I think it's a little bit of personal preference. So you might be a little bit open with the feet. So we'll start it up again. So we'll go ball position, fairly middle, feet pretty close together, just over a club head apart. A little bit of weight favouring the left side, butt end of the grip, pointing to my belt buckle, and then for there, if we just kind of keep this kind of Y shape going through the swing, we just let the golf ball get collected up with the swing. I'll give it a wee bash.
Chris, just to pick up on something you said there, Chris, I love that phrase, to let the golf ball just be collected by the swing. Because you, like I, will probably see as a common fault a lot of amateurs make. What they try and do, they kind of go after it a bit.
Yeah.
How would you describe that? Could you just do a little demonstration of what you see people doing?
Like I would say a lot of time when they, especially if you're hitting chip shots, a lot of people are kind of trying to either really force a strike or almost try to help it up in the air a little bit, and can really get lost. I think because it's such a short shot, you kind of feel like you're not really using your body, and you're just kind of guiding it down there with your hands and your arms. But I think you've really got to use your. It's almost like your chest is always. It's always kind of moving. There's not going to be as much kind of leg action as a full shot, but you're always wanting this chest to be moving. I mean, I'll kind of go into that a little bit more once we go into like chunk shots, thin shots.
Yeah, go for it. It doesn't matter which order.
We'll let it roll. So, like, if I'm seeing a thin shot, what I tend to find is people try to kind of help the ball up in the air. So almost like a body or the chest will stop turning, and then hands, the club's got to get to the golf ball first in order to try and get it up in the air. So it almost look a little bit like really try to flick at it and get it up.
It's got to be the number one fault I see with new golfers, isn't it?
Yeah. So like if we was to go, so definitely number one, once you get up into your setup, we're always wanting to keep this chest moving. You could almost think about the butt end of the grip still pointing at your belt buckle the whole time. Because if you're thinning it, the butt end of the grip's got to be pointing at your back, your chest will start moving. So it's like, even if you're just making some practice swings, try and feel like the butt end of the grip points to your midsection whole time. And as we're doing it, we're just going to try and feel like we're brushing the grass as we're going through it.
Chris, I noticed there, it's quite apparent on that demonstration of what your head's doing there.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of, and I think this will be a surprise to a lot of people watching, that you're actually letting, as your chest rotates, there's a definite movement of the head. Now that goes against the old, golfer. Most amateur golfers are telling each other you've got to keep your head down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got to tie in with the chunk shot as well. If you're
Let's show us that then. What do you?
Like for me, if I'm seeing the chunk shot, like hitting behind it, not catching the golf ball first, I would kind of see like again, the body stop turning, but I would see the hands or the grip end going forward first and really using that back edge. Again, if I get somebody that's really chunking it quite bad, I'd almost want them to try and feel like this is really loose. So you're really feeling the weight of the club. And you can see almost like, if we were just to swing us back and forth, see how the butt end of the grip almost still points. It's not really moving too far. If we was to just keep doing that, but we just add in a little bit of turn with your chest, brushing the grass, I'd almost do it just with right hand only. So in with the right hand, butt end of the grip points to your middle. Really letting it release.
Beautiful.
So that'd be the chunk. The little kind of drill that I kind of want you to do for your thin shot. Again, these are just kind of a couple little drills that I've got. I've got a few more in the locker to help you out if you want. But give them a try, see how you all know. It'll work for some, might not work for others. In that case, that's when you give us a shout. See if we can give you another kind of remedy for it. But I'll get an alignment stick, maybe stick it. You could maybe measure it out. It might be about a grip's width, maybe half a grip's width behind the ball. And if we're thinning it, good chances we're going to strike a stick. So it's almost like get it set up, keep that chest moving towards target. Through the shot, hit some where you're kind of missing the alignment stick. That'd be the thin shot. You've got the chunks. One more I would say would be like almost like a Kiwi shot.
We don't say the word.
Aye. So fit I would use for that is you can use your head covers. Again, I might use alignment sticks if I was out on the grass out there. But we would go stick the head cover almost out on the just out past the toe edge. Sorry. So if we're seeing, I would say I see this shot actually quite a lot with chipping.
So what's this, Kris? Just to clarify, this is when they're striking
so
it out
pretty much, this is pretty much when a club's coming in and you strike it a little bit out the heel, strike it at this part of the club, and the ball kind of almost just shoots along to the right. It doesn't get airborne or nothing. For me, it would be pretty much when the club's just travelling too much out to the right, and it's almost like guiding it towards the target. And again, that comes back a little bit to your chest movement. If we get chest moving, you can almost see in the camera that goes down the line, the club's working round in a little bit of an arc instead of going straight down the target. So if we was to get the head cover there, I might give you one little thought. So the head cover's there to stop you from hitting it out the heel, because if I hit this out the heel, I'll hit the head cover as well. Right? So we go head cover, and then we would go, and I'd almost want you to try and feel like you go left pocket. So almost dragging the club around the body just a little bit. So be in, left pocket, so it's coming a little bit more closer to left pocket instead of being straight down the line. I think that's pretty much it for I've covered the short types that I kind of see. Again, when you're hitting chip shots, you can use any club in your bag with it. It's not going to change too much. The only thing I would really change, if I'm going to try and play like something that runs in a little bit lower, would be you might change a loft. So you might go 9 and 8 and 7 and then you might just play it a little bit further back in the stance. So maybe just inside right foot. Butt end of the grip for me still wants to be pointing towards the belt buckle, and then for there, keeping that shape and letting it land a bit closer and run out a little bit more. Did I hit the high shot? I didn't hit the high shot, the low shot.
No, not done that, but I've got a question that's come out. And it's basically, what would you recommend for someone who's fairly new to golf or is like a mid to higher handicapper? They might have been playing golf for a while. Should they seek to develop their short game and get used to one club first? So, for example, you hit a lot of shots with your 58 wedge. Would you sort of promote getting really good and confident with one club, or should they seek to try all of the clubs? Where do you sit on that one?
For me, I think for beginners or like higher handicappers, you'd almost want to pick. I would almost just get pretty good at playing one standard shot.
Yeah.
So just try and almost just do the same thing every time. So it might be like the pitching wedge might be your best kind of club to go to, because it's still got a bit of loft there, but it's maybe not as lofted as your sandwich. And you've got to pretty much just go through the basic setup that I did there just now. So it'd be ball fairly middle, and just keep that kind of Y shape for most of your chip shots. And once you start getting a little bit more comfortable with it, then you can start playing about with the setup, play about with different clubs. I think for me growing up, and again, I really didn't want to start thinking about my golf on this, but if I was to go back to when I was younger, there would be loads of juniors I would have played, would have had chipping games, and we wouldn't have had our clubs there, so we would have pretty much just took a 58.
Yeah.
And we would have played it different ways.
Yeah, same with me, Chris. We were a good walk away from the clubhouse where the practice green was, and we'd just take up a 50-60 green, which is what I had back then, because we could play bunker shots with it as well. Yeah. But we got mustard with that one club, really good with it. And then that meant that the only disadvantage to that, though, is that I don't feel I really developed an artillery or armory of shots early on, but that could come later. And I think I'd agree with you. I think developing confidence and knowing and fast tracking that real good, proficient, shot with one club isn't a bad way to go.
I think so. I think if you can get, especially for higher handicappers or beginners, you just want to be able to strike that chip shot and get it up onto the green. So if you're getting pretty good at just with the one club, then just keep at it. Again, the better you get, then you maybe want to start playing with different types of clubs, different types of shots.
Different heights then?
Different heights, so let's go 58. So from that I'll go 3 shots here. I'll go, so we're going to go mid. So just a normal chip shot. Ball's fairly middle, maybe slightly back of middle. Nothing too fancy. If you almost take note of even where I've kind of finished here, right? So club's almost got to be at about hip height. If I go a little bit higher with it, I might open the club up a little bit. And by opening it up, I'm just meaning laying it a little bit more flatter, adding a little bit more loft on it. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to actually move my body a little bit more to the right. So the ball's got to be a little bit further forward. I'm going to be standing a little bit further away from the golf ball. And if I'm going to pop this up higher, see the difference in the finish? So club's up in the air a little bit more. Club's actually looking back at me. Butt end of the grip, pointing pretty much down the floor. If we go lower, so we'll go ball back a little touch. So maybe more in line with the right foot. In a little bit closer. Nice low finish. So club's a lot lower. This is a lot firmer. Ball's got to come a little bit lower with a little bit more run on it. Something to play with me. Definitely, depending on what level you're at, play with it. See how you go on. You might find that you are better, you strike it more consistent when you play the ball further back in your stance. Great, perfect. If that's what kind of works for you, ideal. You just might get certain situations where if you've got pop up in the air, it might maybe just might not be your shot. But if you deal with that practice, mess around with it. That's what short games are about. It's just messing around. Hopefully you've got a little bit of an idea there. If I was going to go one more thing, you go anything else?
I've got some other stuff, but you carry on. I've got some stuff to prompt. And
Go for it.
I mean, okay, so I get a lot of people saying they struggle to control the distance that they're trying to hit it.
Okay.
I have an opinion on it. I think a lot of it's connected to strike quality.
Yep.
But let's assume they've taken on board what you've shared there about that basic technique and the striking it well. What I know there's different opinions here. I think what we'd like is your opinion of what you actually do to control the distance you hit a chip shot.
So definitely strike. If you're not striking it the same or solidly every time, then you will get varied distances. But if you're kind of striking it pretty good and you want to, and you're struggling with your distance control, I like to kind of set up like different games to control distance. A lot of that is coming down to feel. I suppose like if I'm throwing a golf ball to Pete over there, I'm not thinking about how far I've got to take my hand back and when I've got to throw it. It's just everybody has got the ability to throw it, and it's a lot about feel. I think going for that onto the routine part. Pretty much, once you get up to your shot, your chip shot, a great way to kind of feel it or decipher which kind of shot or flight you've got to put on it. It would almost be like picture yourself almost throwing a golf ball there. See how that would react. See how the kind of the flight of the golf ball would flight the golf ball you would see. And then pretty much that's the shot you want to try and pick. You want to just try and select a club that's got to give you the flight. But a lot of that is just kind of feel. But again, I think going back to what you said, Pete, I think you've got to hit a strike here for a start.
I think what I see a lot of is people who say, I can't control the distance of my chip shots. And then when I see it in action out on the golf course and they're 15 yards from a green and then they thin it, so thin where the club hits the equator of the ball goes careering off the other end of the green and they're further away now from the hole where they started, they reflect back to me saying, I've hit it too hard. And the problem with that is they haven't hit it too hard. They struck the ball badly. They thinned it, but that goes into their brain. And now their brain on the next time they have the chip shot is I've got to hit it softer. Yeah. And then they strike it half decent. Of course, the ball only goes halfway. So strike is king.
Definitely. I'm kind of pretty much, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Again, if going into a little bit of routine, once you've kind of, you've got to look at your lie first for a start, because there's got to be almost certain things that you can do with the golf ball and shots you can play for certain lies. I mean, after the mat here, you've got a perfect lie every time, so you can pretty much do whatever you want.
I think that could be a future video, Chris.
I think lies is great.
Out in the field, we'll get out on a golf course, out on the front here, playing from different lies, and I think the viewers this evening would probably be very grateful to get just what do you do? You know, we make some lies. You know, put it in some thick grass, sit it up even. I mean, you know, sometimes you can get it sat up, and that's as problematic as the ball sat down, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, the lie's really important. Decipher which kind of lie you've got. Look at your lie again. You've got to get that. I suppose for new golfers, beginner golfers, higher handicappers, you're probably like. It takes time to gauge that experience on the lie. I think you only get it through going out and playing, hitting shots for different lies. So it might be sitting up nicely, it might be sitting down. You gain that through experience and playing it. So just again, getting out and playing as much as you can has got to give you as much kind of experience on judging your lie and what you can do with it. Once you've kind of deciphered your lie, then you've got to pick your shot. Again, speaking to loads of different guys and loads of really good chippers of the golf ball, I always kind of thought it had to be right. You need to be landing it on that spot, and you need to see it doing this and doing that. But a lot of the better chippers that I've probably played with, it's almost they've just got a little bit of vision there. It's not like exact. It's just like. It's almost just like that throwing a golf ball. You throw the golf ball, you kind of get a little bit of feel for it, and you're just almost judging it. You're really going off your feel on what you want to try and do with the golf ball. Once you've done that, then you're good to go. Then that's when you've decided which shot you're going to play. You step in. I'd like to see a couple of practice swings where you're trying to just feel like you're getting a connection with the mat or getting a connection with the ground. Feeling that kind of brush, feeling that how far you got ahead. And then once you go in, you're just doing the exact same thing and letting the golf ball get collected up.
Beautiful.
And that's pretty much it. You got to hit some duff shots. Again, it's just kind of how you got to kind of deal with it for there.
We have got a question from Stu Barkley. How do you get the ball to check up?
Okay, so definitely need fresh grooves. So you got to try and check it with an old wedge. You got to struggle. So you need quite fresh wedges. I heard someone on a podcast not too long ago about wedges, and I'm sure it was the guys for Voki, and they were saying even amateurs should be changing their wedges every year. It's like 52 rounds or something.
Is it?
It's something like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 52 rounds.
Wow. I mean, that's probably, let's be honest, that is Voki trying to sell more wedges as well.
That's obviously got to be a good turn there as well. But
no, I think that's probably...
Generally, if you've got to try, like I would say, if you're a kind of lower single figure handicap and you kind of take your golf quite serious, then you should be changing your wedges every year.
I'll tell you what we have got though, haven't we? We've got the GC quad now. It's going to measure the spin. We could get someone. We've got our new Voki wedges arrived. We could try a new wedge against an old wedge.
Yep.
And just see what happens. So,
definitely.
What about golf ball with that question from Stu?
So golf ball, for me or for I would say anybody else, to try and spin it with a range ball, you really got to struggle. You kind of need a premium golf ball. You need a softer golf ball to get a little bit of spin. Again, you've got to probably need a better lie, a pretty good lie for it. So once you've got your brand new Voki wedge for June's golf set, and you've got your brand new Pro V's, or TaylorMade, whatever, TP5s. So once you've got them two, and you've got your really nice lie in the course, for me, you've got to spin it a little bit more. You've got to try and go. I would open the club face up just a little bit, and I'm really got to try and feel like I'm zipping across it.
Speed, bit of speed.
A little bit. You need a little bit of speed to create that spin. and I'm really going to try and feel like this butt end of the grip goes quite tight to my left pocket. It's never really going to get chasing away from my heel. So if you open it up a little bit, you can play the ball fairly centered, and then really try and feel like you zip across it and get it into your left pocket.
Chris, I want to just check a myth, possible myth anyway, that a lot of people, I think, have been led to believe that to create spin, you've got to hit down on it. That's not the case.
Well, you can definitely keep a strike nice and shallow. I really was trying to strike it. We try and strike it on like the quite low in the club face to get as much kind of spin, so you're getting the golf ball kind of shooting up and grabbing the face. But you definitely need some new wedges, or a fairly new wedge that's got kind of help you with that. But
just on that, Chris, I just another thing that I've noticed when I watch and I look at a lot of amateurs golf clubs, and Stu, by the way, thanks for the question, and I know this does not apply to you, but I look at the state of the clubs, and we talk about having grooves. There's no grooves on them.
No.
Because the cake's full of mud.
Yeah.
Making sure you got clean grooves. I know, like when we were at Tour School, I know we brought this up before, but before you play any wedge shot, you even just, it's clean, but just to double check, you would.
Yeah. I mean, it's a habit. It's just a habit of, I think even if you go, when you're going to, for anybody that's kind of going out and chipping on the short game area, if you've got your wedge, any club, if you hit each shot, you've got to clean it off, because you could get such a different shot coming out with just a little bit of.
So you're practicing, aren't you?
Well, you're practicing
in a different shot to what's ever going to happen with clean grooves.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant. Great advice.
Anything else?
That seems to be it for the questions, Chris. I think you've covered a lot there. I think it's been pretty easy to understand. I think that was a great presentation. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Don't think there's any more questions. I'll just double check. But no, hopefully that's been of use to everybody who's been watching. I'll just come and zip in here. I think I can get on the camera. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. As always, if you do have any questions that come to mind after you've perhaps even come to the range or the short game area, or you've been out playing and it's with your chipping, then please do get in touch with us. You can drop us an email. You can message us through Facebook, through YouTube. Just get in touch with us. We want to help you to play better golf. That's what we do here. So anytime, just drop us a message and we'll report back as soon as we possibly can. And if you're still struggling and you want to make this year a better year for you on the golf course, then get in touch with Chris, Sam or myself and come and get a lesson where we can really drill down into the one thing that's going to help you. These sessions are kind of generic. Chris is trying to share with you some insights without making it overly complicated. And there's definitely some good stuff in there that will help you. But like I said, if you want to really find out what's going on with your game, because everybody's different, then come and see us on a one-to-one basis. We are doing lessons now. We started today. So the lesson diary is open. If you go to JimsGolfCentre.co.uk/book a lesson, or just go to the homepage, you'll see the link in the menu bar, and our diaries are all on there. Right then, Chris.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you all soon.
Cheers.